What was the black market at your school? For me, it all started in high school. I was just 16 when I ran an underground snack empire straight from my locker. Our school had banned all junk food after some big corporate sponsorship. The vending machines that used to have chips and candy, gone, replaced with kale chips and dried seaweed that nobody wanted. I saw an opportunity. At first, I just brought a few extra chocolate bars to sell to my friends, but word spread fast. Soon, kids I didn't even know were slipping me notes between classes with their orders. I expanded. Chips, energy drinks, even those rare Japanese snacks you couldn't find anywhere else. My supplier, Uncle Pedro, who owned a convenience store. He thought it was hilarious and even gave me wholesale prices. I kept everything in an old accounting notebook. Orders, inventory, who owed what. At one point, I was making almost 200 euros a week. For a 16-year-old in 2005, that was insane money. But then things got messy. A sophomore named Antonio wanted in. He offered to handle distribution for the freshman building, promising a 70-30 profit split. I agreed. It was hard managing everything alone, and I liked his initiative. What I didn't know was that Antonio had a gambling problem. He was using our money to play in underground poker games. One day, he came to me in tears. He owed a guy named Diego 850 euros, and Diego wasn't the type you wanted to owe. I was furious. That was nearly 3 weeks worth of profits. But Antonio swore Diego had threatened to break his fingers. I gave him the money, but I cut him off for good. The very next day, Principal Warner called me to his office. Inside were Antonio, Diego, and 2 of Diego's friends. My heart dropped. The principal slid a folder across his desk. Photos of my locker, order lists, even customer messages. "Would you mind explaining this operation, Miss Hernandez?" he asked. Before I could speak, Diego jumped in. "Sir, we discovered this illegal business and felt compelled to report it. As class president, I couldn't let this continue. I wanted to laugh. Diego, the same guy who ran poker games and threatened kids, pretending to be a hero. But then I noticed Antonio wouldn't even look at me. That's when I realized this was payback." The principal started talking about suspension, calling parents, how this could ruin college applications. My mind was racing. And then I remembered something. I pulled out my phone, opened Snapchat, and played a video I had saved weeks earlier. It showed Diego in the parking lot, collecting money from underage students for his poker games. The timestamp was clear. So were the threats he made about keeping quiet. "Interesting leadership style for a class president," I said. Diego's smug face turned pale. The room went silent. The principal looked at us, clearly putting the pieces together. Finally, he sighed and said, "Everyone out, except Ms. Hernandez." When the others left, he leaned back and said, "Here's what's going to happen. Your business ends today, in exchange for me forgetting this meeting ever happened. And maybe I didn't see evidence of other activities that might concern me." I nodded. "Deal." But then he added, "The school board is meeting next week about cafeteria options. I've been fighting this healthy food contract for months. It would help to have student perspectives on how it's affecting morale." I couldn't help but smile. "I might know a few people with strong opinions," I told him. 2 weeks later, the vending machines were back. Diego's poker games disappeared. Antonio, he transferred schools. And me, I still kept that video, just in case. Funny enough, on my college application essay, I wrote about identifying market opportunities and running a small business. And guess what? I got into my first choice school.